Oops. Okay. Yeah, so this was I've been working on this since like the middle of the course. It was through another boot camp, but it didn't get me all the way basically, and I had to put a bunch of stuff together to make it work. They were using React App instead of Vite. I built this on Vite, and so there was actually a lot of different things that happened, especially for like authentication and API usage. And I can explain that later, but this is a Threads by Dinosaur. It is a e-commerce website. You can click on any one of these things, takes you to here. You also can go to the shop where it has like a list of 4 per category, and then click on it to go into the individual categories. Let's see here. You can sign in. So this is the first API usage. Well, I guess technically the Google has Firebase, which has a bunch of things under it. So I call it 2. So technically I have 3 APIs in here because I'm using Firebase authentication, and I'm using the Firestore, which is my database. And I'll show that in a second. And then I'm also using Stripe for payment processing. But okay, so here's this. You can create a user. So let's just say, I don't know, biscuits, and biscuits is a biscuits at biscuits.com. Biscuits, just so I don't forget. And the password is, oh God, is what do I call it? Biscuits. Biscuits. Got it. Okay, so I can sign up, right? And I'm technically it automatically logs me in. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to sign out and be able to sign in via email. Then I'll also show you the Google one. But just to show you really quick, I can go to this here and go to the users. This is my database, by the way. And it should say somewhere here that there it is. Biscuits was just created right now. So you have a created at log as well. So I technically got signed in as I created the account. But let's log back. Oh, actually, let me just use Show Google so I can. I don't know if it'll do the pop-up in the screen share, but there is a pop-up that comes up similar to any time you've ever logged in with Google. And then I don't know if you're able to see the pop-up. Can you see the pop-up? Anyone? Okay, so that's fine. It just says basically says choose an account. I choose my normal Gmail account, and then I'm logged in. So you can see it changed to log in there. You can see on the e-commerce site actually that I already have one. Let's see here. This is basically the Gmail one that comes up. I've been using that one for a minute. Anyway, so this is the log in and log out feature. Let me go back to the shop where I can. Okay, let me log in the shop. I'm logged in already, so I can add things to cart. You can see it incrementing here. There's that. I go to checkout. I can remove things from the cart. This is doing a real-time thing here. And then I have a credit card this is from Stripe, but essentially the idea is 4242. Oh no, I forgot to change that CSS setting. But anyway, it's super dark, but it's 424242. This is just a fake one that Stripe gives you. And so 42, and then this one is, yeah, okay. So essentially what happens is I have this total of 154 right now. This is random, doesn't matter. And then I can put in this pay now. And then what happens is it should give me a pop-up saying that payment was successful. So there's that. But then actually you can see that in payments. Let's see here, payments. So this is the Stripe backend. But essentially you can see that I paid 179 just now on there. So you can track essentially, and you can go back home on this. I love this thing. This Stripe, this is totally new to me. But let's see here, where is it? Okay. Oh, today, there it is. So like you can actually show like over time the payments processes that have happened. And all that's the only thing that's different from like this and like a bona fide website. This is technically deployed already. The only thing that's different is that like I don't have a actual business account set up. I'm using the test store. So you can see it here actually test mode. And then so all of this is this is deployed on Netlify, which is awesome. So this one is someone was talking about having trouble with the environment variables. I just wanted to show really quick that you can like create these API keys in the thing that you have. There's another example of how like Byte's different. You have to like specify specifically that you're using Byte in using Stripe as well. That is the ramble, I think. But anyway, this is my solo project.
Yeah, this is super great. How long did you say you were working with this on this project for?
I'm about halfway through the course. I started it, but like it was a really slow goings, honestly, because I was doing it in between the other stuff in this course, right? So it was I made like bits and piece progress throughout, and then like I did the folly of biting off more than I could chew for the solo project, and then actually I ended up reverting back to working on this late into the process. So I ended up going back to this because this was almost there and needed to have Stripe implemented and needed to have some other pieces worked out, some more CSS stuff added. But yeah, this has been a little bit longer work in progress than the 3 weeks or whatever that we had.
Okay, great. And then just to clarify, do you have like a Node.js backend that's actually?
Yeah, so I'll show you that. That's actually I wanted to show you that. One second. Stop share really quick. I'll share the code. Oh wait, what is it? Open it. There it is. Okay. So in the actual code here, you can see Netlify requires that you have a specific functions thing here. So actually, when I go into, wait, is this one? No, that's the no, that's not it. No, that's not it. Let's see here. Intent. And then there's also the this one. I don't remember. Yeah, it is Node. I forgot where I put it. Let's see here. It's yes, essentially it is like it's a very basic backend node, like super like one pager that is talking to Netlify, which is why I thought it would be here, but it's just the functions part. Yeah, I'd have to find it. It's uploaded. I forgot where I put it in the folder base.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. So it's basically mostly front end.
Front end heavy for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
just whatever the minimum requirement to get it working on a website is. It was the back end portion.
Yeah, this is great. That's awesome. That's a good way to outsource your code, right? Why do it yourself when you could have a?
Yeah. I'm relying heavily on Firebase and also Stripe to do their heavy lifting.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much for sharing that.
So my project, the idea was to have a like a task manager app with like time tracking capabilities implemented into it, kind of like a hybrid of Todoist and Toggle, if you're familiar with either of those. And I had bigger plans for what my APIs were going to be, but those kind of fell apart, and so I ended up just throwing some into at least technically meet the requirements. So there's an API to generate random cat photos. So I have my login page, my sign up page. So we'll go ahead and log in. And then the other API is just a random quotes API. And you get your homepage and it'll have a list of all your tasks. And you can create new ones. You get your title. You can have a category, and I threw in some like pre-built ones just to make it, because ideally I would have a page that I could sort by category, and having some prefab ones would make that easier. And then you can choose a like a date and a time. and then it'll sort all the tasks by the due date. You can open them up, and here you can edit them, and then this is the same page as the creation one, but it recognizes that you're editing one, and it will pre-fill in all the information. You can add like descriptions. And then update, it'll take you back, and the descriptions keep the formatting, which I had to figure out. And then the timer thing, this part was a pain in my butt for a little while. But it generates this timer on the front end, and then when I stop the timer, it passes that into the back end and stores it, so that you can keep track of like the total time that you spent working on this, is the idea. Subtasking doesn't work yet. And then you can delete them, and it removes it from the database entirely, or you can mark them as completed with this checkbox, and it'll filter it out. As far as other features that I wanted to implement, I've been kind of throwing some in there today as other people have been presenting. But I want to make better pages, because right now I really just have the home page and the create tasks page. But I wanted to be able to view like total time spent working on like each category, or like completed tasks, and like whether or not they were completed on time. I have these like built into the models. I just didn't get to building out the actual capabilities for them. And the logout. So yeah.
E-commerce, like, okay, I made an e-commerce coffee shop. Basically the idea was just to like get the top 15 coffees around the world and then have them for sale. To scale, I want to add like maybe another page for products for like mugs or little trinkets or something like that. But yeah, as I said, it's not styled yet. But here you can, this is like the first product, like categories. So you can go into products, and you can add products to your cart. Then here you can add 2 or 3, 4, and up here you can see that it's increasing items, and then it's like a little modal with the total price, and just like a little rates you. And then, so at first I did have the whole card going into this little modal, but it wasn't rendering the photo. So I kind of like scaled it back and focused on another area. But eventually I want to be able to put this whole card into here. Then as you add more, it'll just have more cards below it. And then I have additional information here. So this is more like the back end, or like history of how coffee is made or grown. And it's like 1 or 2 sentences of each type of coffee that we sell. And then if you go down here, I have Google Maps, and then I made pins or markers for each type of coffee that I have. And what I like about this is that you can kind of like just throw the guy down there and go to the plantation and see like, hey, this is how the coffee is made. Some people are interested in that. I don't know if you guys are, but being able to come in here and see like, hey, this is where the Ethiopian coffee beans are coming from and harvested. And you can see this is still a developing country, and they still are able to develop one of the top ranked coffees in the world, which I thought was pretty cool. And by accident, I kind of found out, I don't know, like Google Maps cracks me up sometimes, because like if you throw this down and you just get like random stuff, like this dude on the side of the road. Going back, all right, so I have my brew crew, which is like where my login or sign in user authentication and sign up. Going back, so we'll sign in. All right, so coffee signed in, and we can log out here, sign up, Um, and Darren signed in with 3 Rs. Finishing the shopping cart. We could add. And remove. And then we go checkout. So we have the checkout feature. This is PayPal. This is my second API. I don't know why it always blocks this first one. And then you have to sign in. I'm using a sandbox account. And it gives me this password here. Log in. And you can check out, complete purchase. And then it empties out your shopping cart. And you go back home. And that's pretty much my app or my website.
Yeah, you know, for saying that it wasn't styled, this looks really well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just cards. It's just the cards. And then like with the products, I just added an image. And then I just mapped through the one card and it just put it in columns and rows. So it's nothing special, like, but yeah.
Wow, this was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
All right. All right, so summary of my app is basically users can log in, they get to their account. It's pretty data heavy. So when you get to the homepage, it's basically a dashboard of everything that's in your database. But we'll see that in a second. So create an account. We'll show this first. So test.com. Create an account. We do see it posted down here in the terminal. So if we go to log in, we see that the user has been logged in and now we have access to our nav bar. Since I have a lot of data, I'm going to actually sign in with my account because I have some dummy data in there that I'm going to use for my presentation. So you can log in, go to your homepage. So this is kind of the meat and potatoes here of the whole page. So you can see all of the properties. So in this account, this is all fake. So this portfolio has 8 properties. You can see the total amount of square feet, total amount of income coming in, you know, all the associated data, cool $4 million. And then we see all the markers on the Google map that display all the properties that are in our database that have this user's ID associated with it, which this part right here was probably the most challenging part. But so the rest of these tabs manipulate the database. So it shows up here. So let's see. So if you go to my properties, so here's some of my dummy data here. We've got like the different addresses. You can click in and kind of see, you know, different information about purchase price, all the details that we've entered. We see the associated rental manager that you want. And when you go to the managers, same thing. So here's like my list of different managers for my properties. And you can add and delete them with these forms. So let's try adding an entry. So if you don't put in a legitimate street and city, like if you did test, it wouldn't post because here, or I should say, it won't show up on this map because this map takes in a valid address. So it wouldn't show up. But that being said, if we put in a legitimate address, let's see, what do I got? And then we, you know, we'll just make this whatever. And then you can choose your property manager. This will associate the ID with the property. So when you update your managers, this will update as well. So I'll just choose this one. Now there's going to be a bug right here that I haven't fleshed out yet, but I'll click submit. And the entry was posted to the database, but for whatever reason, it's not showing here. The delete button comes up. So when I refresh, we actually do see that the entry was added to the list. It was added here. So, and then you can go in and we can see everything. You can see it even got the profit rate. And if you want to edit it, like let's say, yeah, I did that wrong. So we can put in all this information again, or like, let's say we want to go just for testing purposes, I'll just change everything so we can see what it looks like. Now it should have posted, it should display a warning, but I need to flesh that out. If I reload, we do see that in the database, it was changed at that same URL with that ID. So you can edit everything through that forum. And then you can also delete that address. So we don't want this because this isn't real. So we'll delete it and you can see it disappears from our list and our database. And then I'll show you, so same thing here. This is my other CRUD resource. If we enter another one, I'll just put submit this guy, same thing. It does post to the thing, but you have to refresh to actually get it. So I need to work on that, but it does show up and you can see everything in there. And more importantly, when you go to create a new, like if we wanted to create a new one, you could come in here and see, we'll see that test is right there. So you can actually associate it with that ID. So finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that address in again. And I'm going to make it kind of verbose so we can see that the dashboard is working. So let's go like 10,000 square feet. Let's go like $10 million. What is that? 1, 2, 3, one more zero. Current income is $1 million, let's say. And yeah, and we'll even use our test. And that these numbers are just so it's verbose so we can see what happens. So we see that it shows up in our list. And when we go to our dashboard, we see that these all update as well. So we see that our square footage went up 10,000. This went up 1 million. This went up 1 million. And yeah, so if we get rid of that guy, go back, we see it all updates back to its original values. And then lastly, the calculator. So amortization calculator is basically what you're paying, how much principal and interest you're paying on your mortgage. And so in here, you can type in, a lot of people want to know like what their monthly payment would be if they search for a property or if they bought a property. So like if we wanted a mortgage of 100, and then, you know, we put in like typical like values or whatever. We'll throw in our date here and we'll see that this will populate to whatever's in here. Hit calculate, and then it's just, I need to flesh this out a little bit, but you can see like your monthly payment with this loan would be pretty high. Is this even right? 100,000. I'm not sure exactly if this math is being performed correctly, but it is saying, so basically this interest is what you would pay on top of this $100,000 loan. So it gives you your total here. And then I used to have a feature where it showed down here the actual like years of how much, like year one, you're paying this. And I actually think it broke it down by month, and that was part of the API call, but I just haven't had time to implement it. But so you can use this when you find a property. You can use this to see if it's, you know, good enough to add to your portfolio, or your company, or maybe it would be a good idea or not. And yeah, so the biggest obstacles for me was this map for sure, because even though it looks pretty simple, it was like 3 API calls happening in this one image right here. Because what it's doing is it's calling my database to get this list of properties, and then it's taking that address and it's converting it. It's feeding that to a second API call, which turns it into latitude and longitude, so I can feed it into this map basically. So it's actually 3 APIs in one. And so that was the hardest thing, because I had to figure out the async await and the responses and like timing them perfectly so they wouldn't break, and that took forever. So yeah, and the other issue was yeah, I had some scope issues where like I originally wanted like a search field and all this other stuff, and I like quickly realized that we didn't have enough time to actually get everything done. So if I were to come back and add to this, I would add more to this calculator, so you could actually get more information. And then I might add like a search function that would allow you to like find a property and then just click add, and then it would post the address to your list. But that's as far as I've got. Yeah, and I think the biggest things I learned from the project was definitely threading the API like requests from the front end to the back end, then to the database, and then figuring out how to thread the response back up through all the layers. So it was a good exploration of the tech stack and learning how to use all the different layers. So yeah.
Yeah, this was really awesome. And I definitely see a lot of implementation of API calls, not only to your backend, but it seems like your backend and API calls are intertwined with whatever API calls are happening from React alone, or even just working together. So great job on all of that. And also you have a lot of CRUD capabilities in this application. So I'm sure that was a challenge in itself as well. As far as you already mentioned what things you would do if you were to go back and improve it. Is there any other way that you think you could make the user experience more comfortable when utilizing your application for maybe a future implementation of this?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely, the UX is definitely the lacking part, I would say. I mean, I didn't really get enough time to really flesh these lists out as best as I wanted. I mean, they do look a bit clumsy, and like, you know, there's these giant links right here, ugly blue color, but I was really having to triage things as I got towards the end. So I think starting over, I'd probably do a little bit better management of my scope and like time management to make sure that I'm yeah, delivering everything cleanly and with a better user experience.
Yeah, this looks great. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Brant. This is my Cookie Craze website. I'll actually log out first so you can see. So first thing I'll show is this is the homepage of the website. Just says welcome. You scroll down, you've got all the products that you can choose to purchase. And then we'll go ahead and register or sign up. And then it brings you to the sign-in page. So you can see it just says welcome, and then once you're signed in, it whatever your username is, it will assign that. You can also use this if you wanted to sign in, but this button for sign up. You can scroll down. We go to the products page. It'll bring us here. This is all the products. You can add some to the cart. It adds it up here, tells you the cost per item. So we want some of these, maybe you want some cookies for your football event. And then you can also remove them. I don't have a way to check out at the cart, but just to add and remove. So that's something that I definitely need to add. And then obviously a payment methodology. If we go back home, as far as the APIs I implemented, if you know anything about e-commerce, you know that time on a website directly correlates to purchases. So, you know, when someone's coming up here to leave the website, if they didn't buy any cookies, they can maybe get stopped by this Chuck Norris fact. And oh, joke's on me. Let's try it again. There you go. There's one. We can do another one. Didn't really get that one. Before Chuck Norris came along, pit bulls were lap dogs. Okay. So you got to end the supply of that. And then maybe you also wanted to know the Bitcoin price. You look at that. It's great to see. It's up about 100% year to date. So maybe you're thinking I've got extra money to buy some cookies. And so you do that. And then I'll show log out again. If I didn't show it. Log out, you refresh the page, and you're no longer signed in. That is my whole website. Any questions?
Yeah, this is great. Where did you find that Chuck Norris fact API?
Yeah, I was just Googling. I was actually running behind a little bit on the project and was just Googling. I was looking for memes at first and then just Googled simple joke APIs to implement, and it popped up.
Awesome. Yeah. And then you said that as far as further features, you're going to try to implement something like a checkout. Do you have any idea what type of are you thinking about integrating some sort of API to be able to do payment and all of that?
That was my original plan. And I just, yeah, things were a little bit harder than I realized. But based on other people's projects, it looks like the PayPal might be one to use for sure. PayPal API.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Does anybody have any questions? All right.
Okay, so I did a City of Pawnee website. Hopefully I have some fans of Parks and Rec on here. Otherwise, you're gonna miss a lot of the references. But I went ahead and just pre-populated this, the sign up for user, Leslie Nope. I know in the future, this is something I want to change because instead of just having you can write anything in here, have like actual departments that are listed to like a drop down. I just didn't get to it. And then I don't like it. I'm also going to change this at some point, but it should auto direct to the login page. So let's Leslie. Great. And then let's see, hi Leslie. So those two pages are pretty simple because I got pretty worn out after trying to style this page here. But this is just the home page here. You got some community events things going on and some local news on that's happening in Pawnee. You can see here I have this check out local artists on Spotify. This was originally one of the APIs I wanted to integrate, but I had a lot of trouble with it. So I'm going to come back to this. Not to worry, I do still have two APIs last night. I went with Plan D, but we'll come back to that. For our departments page here, Parks and Rec, Ron Swanson, the man, the myth, the legend, and the API that started this entire project. Because I came across it really quickly. Just a random quote generator for Ron Swanson. And every time you click on his picture, it populates a new one. I also have ChatGPT that thanks for this little prompt. I just threw it in there. Give me like 2 paragraphs that Leslie Nope would write about the department. I did not come up with that myself. For one of the CRUD functionalities, I went with work orders. So I'll go ahead and create one first. Just like, it was clean water hygiene, something crazy like that. submit it. Thanks for letting us know. And then when I come over here, I can actually see that task got put into the to-do list for the Parks Department. And let's say someone completed an item. These are actually the IDs in the Postgres database. So you can go ahead and just put in 14 and click delete. And that was something I had some trouble with on this section itself. Whenever I click delete, it wouldn't actually clear it unless I re-rendered the page. So I went ahead and put in a little window location reload thing. But yeah, I can delete a bunch of those guys, no problem. Let's go back. So API, Craze, okay, yeah. So I didn't get the Spotify working, but like I said, Plan D, Pawnee has the Pawnee Video Dome, and since we were already familiar with the OMDB API, I went ahead and integrated that here as well. These 3 titles are in an inventory, but someone could also search for a film and render that here as well. I believe that's it. Questions?
That's awesome. Could you just log out for me real quick?
Yeah. This is something where I want it to like change instead of just hi and blank because the person's logged out to have it be like the login page button.
Yeah, this is really great. So all of these community events and their icons that we see populated here, are those coming from an API or are those currently just coming from that you hard coded them in here?
This is just me that I hard coded in there.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
this is actually the only one that has a link to another page.
Yeah, I really like this project. If you were able to restart this project and do something differently to make the project more efficient, what would you do?
Oh man. Well, I think one of the things that really bugged me, even though I built it, is how the sign up and login page works. So I would like to sign up to automatically go to a login. And then originally I planned on having 2 different types of logins, one for government employees that would have their own page working with all the work orders, and then one also for community residents. So like they could go in and maybe pay for their license plate registration or something, but it was just too much. I didn't get there in time.
I have a question.
Yep.
Does Perd happily exist on this website at all?
He does not make a show on here yet.
Oh, that would be my favorite tertiary character in the Parks and Rec universe.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, this is in fact a website.
He's by far the best. Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody. I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay. For my project, I did a fitness app. It's basically to keep track of your workouts. Because like for me, whenever I go to the gym, I'll be like, oh yeah, it's chest day, and I'll just do like a random chest workouts without like a plan. So let's see. We can sign up. So when you sign up, you get like a little alert saying that you successfully registered. So then you can just come here and log in. And then here it gives you the name that you entered when you registered. So here I'm grabbing muscle groups from an API called, what was it called? Exercise DB from Rapid API. So these are coming from that API, and then when you click on them, so let's say waist, it populates with all these app workouts, and it even populates with a GIF, so you can see what the workouts being performed. And then if there's one that you like, you can just add them to a workout list. So we can just add 3, and then we can just go to cardio, add a couple more. And then when you go to your list, they're right here. The one thing I'm still trying to do is I want to be able to have like different lists. So that way, like if you have like different workouts you want to do for like a Monday or a Tuesday, you can set them up instead of like, because right now it's only just a single list that I have implemented. And then once you complete the workout, you can just hit complete, and it gets removed from the list. And then you can sign out, and you're brought back into the sign up and login page. And that's my app.
Wow, yeah, that's really cool. I really like that exercise DB. I've seen other people use it, but I didn't know that it had that GIF inside of it. And then I might have just missed this, but when it comes to your APIs, I know you mentioned the exercise DB. Is there another API that you
No, I was only able to get one in. The other one I wanted to use was like a YouTube API, where when you click on the workout, it was supposed to give you like a video of like a more detail on how to do it, but I didn't get a chance to implement that one, so I only did one API.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, this looks great. Have you tried utilizing it for yourself yet?
No, not yet, because I thought it was only going to take me a week. Because I was like, oh, this will take a week, and then I'll work on my other failed projects. And this took me all 3 weeks. Like I was styling up till last night.
Well, it was worth it. It looks really good. But yeah, I feel like that's a common tendency where we think we could get things done a lot faster than we can.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Does anybody have any questions? All right.
So it's basically an app that it'll keep track of everything you eat throughout the day. Let's see. Because I'm looking at the API right now, and when you enter like a food's name, like if I do like an apple, it gives you calories and macros. But yeah, like for macros, it gives you like the carbs, proteins, and fats, and then it gives you calories. And what I was hoping for this app is that it would keep track of all that and add it all together. And then when you create the account, I want it to be where like the user can enter like their desired calorie goal and macro goal, and then have it compare to like the data that it's getting from the API and tell you if you're meeting or exceeding or not meeting your desired goals.
Awesome. That's really cool. Thank you so much. And moving on to the next pitch, we got Tango t-shirts.
What's up? This was the thing that I wanted to do for the solo project, but I really didn't get there. So I wanted to see if about doing it as the group project. The concept is fairly simple, just with the thing. Actually, it's funny. ChatGPT wrote me a sales pitch. I'm gonna use it because it's funny. It's so it says, "Hey students, listen up. I've got a project idea that will blow your socks off. We're creating an internal tool for t-shirt suppliers to manage their sales and inventory with style. Imagine having the power to CRUD users, clients, product categories, products, inventory quantities, and invoices. No more chaos, just smooth sailing. But wait, there's more. You can sell inventory to shops, track sales metrics, and get a killer dashboard view with all the juicy details. Plus, our activity log view lets you spy on, track user activity like a pro. Join us and let's conquer the t-shirt world together. It's going to be more fun than teaching a cat to breakdance. Ready to rock? Sign up now." That ChatGPT is the best.
Anybody have any questions? All right. It's gonna be hard to follow that ChatGPT pitch. Let's see. Next one's gonna be the Python learning game.
Hey everyone, so this is an idea for a Python learning game. It's going to be set in a dystopian cypherpunk world. You're going to be, we're going to work on developing the overall story. This is kind of so you can get a feel for the setting. If you see these two images, on the right, you'll have a console, and the goal is going to be however far we get in it, you'll start out with the simplest program like print hello world, and you'll advance maybe for this project culminating in defeating some sort of palindrome puzzle to either unlock or hack a system or something like that. The goal of this project is to make it fun to learn or give people a reward, whether it's through story or we could implement some sort of power progression. But the whole idea is to create a game so that people want to learn. And I think the cypherpunk is the perfect setting for a game where you learn to code. And hopefully gets people interested in it. So definitely sign up because we're filling up fast with 3.
Awesome. That creating that sense of urgency. I like it. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Now we got anonymous class question and answer website. There you go. Anonymized. I got it.
So I put that one in there. It's based off the concept we came up with during Judith's seminar thing last week. It's basically like, because during lectures, we're always asking questions in chat because Tango loves to talk. And sometimes it derails lessons. Sometimes stuff gets lost in the chat with all the bullshit that I post. And stuff like that. So I thought it would be cool to have like kind of a Stack Overflow style site for us to ask questions and for it to be anonymous, because sometimes we have questions that we don't feel comfortable asking. So you know, don't want to like pressure people into asking questions that make them uncomfortable. But anyway, have kind of functionality for other classmates to answer or the instructor to answer and to know who's answering, whether it's a student or an instructor. So, you know, in theory, more authoritative, and then kind of upvote or downvote answers based on how good they are. But it'll be something that could be, we could all have, and the instructors could have up on a separate web browser during instruction, so you could see in real time as people are asking questions during the class. And then it could also serve as like a log for questions asked during lessons that you can then reference. You know, when was that time where Francisco told us how to hide our API keys in .env or whatever, you know. But anyway, that was the general idea. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Strong pitch. I like it. Yeah, that's definitely something that the program can continue using if you guys do decide to create it. So that's awesome. Any questions? You guys do love to talk.
How would this utilize authentication?
So you could have accounts, and so you could control like who can actually post stuff on there. So, you know, somebody doesn't post a link to it on 4chan or something, but you can then, like, the posts themselves just wouldn't have any identification data visible to other users.
Thank you.
All right. The next one's going to be the baby name app.
So that's me again. So this is my personal project. It is functionally there as far as passing the stuff for the requirement, but my styling is terrible, and there's my dog is making a bed out of the rug. But so yeah, my styling's terrible, and I didn't get several of my stretch goals that I think would really make it really cool, like the ranking algorithm and stuff. And then there's other like back-end stuff that could be much better to allow like one parent to have multiple sessions of naming or coming up with a name and stuff, just in case, like if you don't know what gender you're having, then maybe you want to do one for boys and one for girls ahead of time before you find out, or some people don't find out until birth, stuff like that. But yeah, and then, if, because you can set what gender you're having to filter what kind of names you get. And so maybe if you select boy, then the theme kind of changes to blue and stuff like that. Whatever, but yeah, I think it could be really cool with the help from people that are smarter than me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anybody have any questions? Okay, moving on. We got I love interviews too.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so that one was mine. So I got my pitch here. Are you a software engineer job seeker who wants to ace your next behavior interview? Look no further. Our web app is here to help you prepare and gain confidence in your interviewing skills. Our app includes a small bank of commonly asked behavioral questions in software engineering interviews, along with the timer feature that allows you to set a specific time limit for your responses. You can record your answers using your device's microphone or simply type them out. That's not all. Our app provides feedback on the quality of your responses based on a set of predefined criteria. You'll know exactly what areas you need to work on or improve your interviewing skill. And for the ultimate practice, our app offers basic mock interview feature where you can simulate a real interview scenario with pre-recorded questions. Don't let the fear of behavioral interviews hold you back from landing your dream software engineering job. Try our app today and become confident, prepared, successful job candidate. So in the description, just are a few more of the features, and yeah, so it's pretty much just a app where you're able to get some questions, common behavioral questions, and answer them. Either you type them or record them, and have some type of predefined criteria to base your feedback off of.
Awesome. Any questions, anybody? Okay. And is that our last project? No, it's not our last project idea. My apologies. There you go. So now we got the registration app.
That's mine. So it's building off of what I'm creating right now. Having some issues with the CRUD right now. Things are going in the right spot, but not correctly. Well, only to one date. But yeah, so it's a registration app helping. So it's really automating my mom's job. So she's like a volunteer coordinator for our church for an organization down in Wichita that feeds anyone who needs a free meal. And right now, all she's doing is it via Excel sheet and email. So having a user sign up and then be able to like click on the date that they want to sign up for pretty much takes my mom out of the equation from that point. Really, all she would need to do is set up the dates that she needs people to fill, and just to kind of verify that people are doing it, or if she needs to manually start reaching out for more people to sign up for it that way. But to build off of mine, it would be right now I only have the user side going, and will be so building off of it would be making like the volunteer coordinator side of it. So that would be pretty much this top block. The user side, the only thing that I'd be adding to the user side is, like dream would be for it to be like an app on your phone. And like on Friday, you're like, I have nothing planned for Saturday. What's going on in my area that I can like help out with? Put in like a zip code, search within, a 20-mile radius of like events that are going on. And if you got nothing going on a Saturday, you can find something to do that helps out.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. Any questions, anybody? Okay, great. We got Tinder for Tech up next. Are we getting a pitch for that one? Is this being disregarded now?
I didn't make this one, but there was this guy named Ben Awad that made a VS Code Tinder, which I thought was funny. Similar idea, different.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, if the individual who came up with it is not willing to do a pitch for it, we're just gonna go ahead and disregard this idea for now. And if later on they change their mind, please let me know. We could always come back to this. Now we got the Beer Buddy app.
Yeah, that one was my idea. I don't really have like a hard idea, but the concept, I mean, it's kind of following Daniel's project, honestly, where I got this idea, like, so there's this bar down the street where like you can go there and you can like buy your friend a beer and then they write their name on the wall, and then your friend can come in later and be like, hey, my friend's on the wall, like I get my beer or whatever, and they're like, yeah. So it'd be basically that, but like an app that did it for you. And I don't know exactly how it'd be implemented, but anyway, that's kind of what the idea was.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Any questions for Beer Buddy?
I think it's actually a really cool idea. I wonder, you could probably pitch that as a feature to like the people that make Untapped. And they would gobble it up.
All right, awesome. It looks like we have somebody who added an idea. It seems like it's the virtual mentor app. I'm gonna
Yeah, I just threw that on there like 5 seconds ago. I don't really have it fleshed out that much, other than I imagine sort of a platform that would connect mentors and mentees, just based on shared interests and goals. Mentees would be able to log on and maybe look at a mentor's profile, see if their interests align, and then reach out to them in some form or fashion. Or maybe we could, I would have to take a look at the free APIs to see if there's anything else we could bring in for that, making, maybe there's a way we can use like Calendly or something or like Outlook calendar or something to make, mentor sessions easier to schedule, something like that. I don't know. I'm just sort of spitballing, but sort of popped into my head.
No, that's pretty good. I'm sure career services would appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, great. That's gonna be our last pitch out of the group projects. So let's give it, time right now is 2:30. Let's give it 10 minutes. In the next 10 minutes, go ahead and vote for each individual project that you think should stay. If there's a project that really doesn't get your attention, don't vote for it so that we can eliminate it. And we only have a specific amount of group projects. And then once we come back after that, then we'll move on to the following steps. So currently right now is 2:32. Let's go ahead and come back at 2:42 and continue on. I'll see you all in a bit.